Hi, it's me Jacqueline. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to the channel, then please subscribe my channel and visit my Patreon page, link in the description.
Mom wasted no time, taking me directly to a jewelry store that had a big sign advertising ear piercing. As we walked into the shop, I panicked and began to pull back. I ran out of the store and sat on a bench. Mommy looked at me very crossly, then leaned over and whispered to me, "You don't want to be 9 years old, do you, Jamie?" She asked. "How about being 14 and in high school?" I nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, please, Mommy." Mommy had an evil grin on her face. "Fine, you can be a 14-year-old girl in your old school. You'll look great with a cute figure. I'll bet some of your old classmates would find you quite attractive. You have 10 seconds to get over there and get your ears pierced, or you're going back to your old school, young lady." I didn't need any further prodding. I was on my way back into the store before she could count to 2. "My daughter would like to get her ears pierced," Mommy told the clerk. "May I pick out some pretty earrings too, Mommy?" I asked without being prompted, hoping to make up with her. Mommy smiled at me and I instantly felt better. "Sure, sweetheart. Once the lady's done with your ears, I'll let you pick out any 5 pairs that you like." "Thank you, Mommy," I said in as sweet a little girl's voice that I could. A second later, I felt something cold against my ears, then felt a brief, sharp pain. It was final. I now had pierced ears. That shopping trip ended with 5 pairs of earrings as Mommy, as well as a new hairstyle. Mommy had kept the hairstyling a surprise until the very last minute. We were walking through a department store hand in hand, headed back to the car when suddenly she pulled me off to the hairstyling department. "I'd like to change my daughter's style a little bit," she told the stylist with a smile. "Something a little shorter, say about to here." She pointed to just below my ears. Mommy and the stylist looked over several books while I had to be a good little girl and sit quietly. Finally, they decided on a style and I was led back where my hair was shampooed and styled. 30 minutes later, I was walking back to the car with a typical little girl's hairstyle of bangs and ends that curled over. Mommy's last surprise was a bow which perfectly matched my running shorts and top, which she tied into my hair. "Was the haircut necessary?" I asked when I got into the car. "I was behaving, wasn't I?" "You were wonderful, Jamie," Mommy said proudly. "But I want to make sure we remove all traces of the old you. When you look into a mirror, the only thing you should see is a pretty little girl," she told me as I stared at my reflection in the car mirror. She was absolutely right, of course. With my new hairstyle, gold-studded earrings in my newly pierced ears, my size and clothes, I was the picture of a cute little girl. "But I don't know anything about being a girl, Mommy," I sighed. "Someone's going to notice that this pretty little girl acts just like a boy." "No, they're not, Jamie," Mom smiled as though laying down a hand filled with aces at a poker game. "Aunt Patty is going to be staying with us for a while to teach you how to be a girl." "No, not Aunt Patty," I screamed. She was my favorite aunt. I never wanted her to find out about this. "Why did you have to tell her?" "She understands, Jamie," Mom assured me. "She loves you and she's willing to help you." "By teaching me how to act like a little girl? Would you rather act like a teenage boy in a little girl's dress?" Mom asked. Why did she always have such good comebacks? I could imagine the laughter if people thought that I was really a teenage boy wearing little girl's clothes. "No," I said, beaten. "But Aunt Patty? I'll be totally humiliated if she sees me in a dress." "She'll think you're a doll, Jamie, dear," Mommy told me. "Actually, you look so much cuter as a little girl than you were as a boy." "Somehow I don't feel any better," I said as I absent-mindedly toyed with the elastic leg of my panties under my shorts. "When is she coming?" "Monday morning will be the start of girl classes for you, honey," Mommy announced. "You'll have to pay close attention because we're moving in about 6 weeks." I was up bright and early Monday morning so that Mommy could help me pick out something to wear. I wanted to wear a pair of shorts, but Mommy insisted that I wear my pink dress with petticoats. "Not that, Mommy," I complained. "I feel so silly wearing that dress." "But honey, you look so adorable in that dress. I want to have you looking just right when Aunt Patty meets her new niece," Mommy explained as she undid a few buttons on my top. "Please no, Mommy," I pleaded. "I feel like a baby when I wear dresses like that." Mom thought for a few moments. "Would you like me to help you, honey?" she asked in a soft voice. "How?" "I can fix it so that you'll like wearing a pretty dress like that," she said slowly. Would that help? You'll turn me into a girl again, I said as tears started to cloud my eyes. Then I wouldn't be able to enjoy being with Aunt Patty. No, honey, Mommy promised. You'll still enjoy being with Aunt Patty. I'll just fix it so that you'll like wearing pretty dresses. I'll still be me and have fun with Aunt Patty? I asked hopefully. You'll be James, but he'll want to be Jamie and wear pretty dresses, okay? Okay, I agreed. Anything to spend time with my favorite person. Mommy sat down on the bed next to me and began to talk to me. You've always liked wearing my clothes, you love pretty dresses, and wish you could be a girl. I had very pleasant memories of making Mommy laugh by putting on one of her dresses and walking around the house in her heels. She would put makeup and perfume on me and call me Jamie. I always had such a good time pretending to be a girl, and it was going to get better, 'cause my Aunt Patty was going to spend time with us and teach me how to act like a girl. Maybe Mommy will let me go out as a girl again next Halloween. Time to get dressed, honey, Mommy said to me. I hurried over and got my petticoat, shoes, and socks. Can I wear that real fancy dress you bought me, Mommy? I asked sweetly. I got my petticoat and shoes and socks all by myself. Mom nodded and I quickly pulled off my top and shorts and slid the petticoat over my head. It felt so nice to wear such silky things, though as I pulled it down and reached for the dress. Girls are so lucky. I hope Aunt Patty thinks I'm pretty, I giggled as I pulled my dress over my head. Can you button me up, Mommy, please? I was all dressed and feeling so pretty later on when the doorbell rang. I saw Aunt Patty's car in the driveway and rushed to open the door. Hi, Aunt Patty. I smiled as she looked me over carefully. Like my new dress? It's beautiful, Jamie, and so are you, she said as she gave me a hug and kiss. I've got a surprise for you. I love surprises, Aunt Patty. I giggled. Can I have it, please? First, I have to see if you're going to be a good girl, she teased. I don't give surprises to bad little girls or good little boys. I'll be good, and I'm a girl, I insisted, fluffing my skirt to show off my petticoat. You're a sweetie, Aunt Patty laughed. But you're still a boy. Turning to Mommy, she winked. Do I have permission to make a girl out of him? I suppose it's okay, Mommy winked back. But maybe we should ask him. Please make me a girl, Aunt Patty, I begged. I'll be such a good girl and I really like to wear pretty dresses. I'm glad you like wearing pretty dresses, Jamie, she told me. A pretty girl like you should wear dresses whenever she can so people can see how pretty she is. Your mommy tells me you're going to start wearing them a lot more soon. Is that right? I couldn't believe it. I could easily call up memories of my pending conversion from a teenage boy to a 9-year-old girl, but they no longer upset me. I was looking forward to being able to wear pretty dresses, silky underwear, and be a girl. That's right, Aunt Patty. Mommy's going to let me start 4th grade over as a girl. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, it certainly is, my aunt agreed. But you'll have to learn your lessons well. We wouldn't want anyone to know that you're really a boy. I'll study real hard, Aunt Patty, I swore. I'll wear pretty dresses and I'll act just like a girl. Aunt Patty smiled, reached into the bag she had brought with her and pulled out several baby dolls. What do I do with these? I asked, puzzled. You pretend to be their mommy, my aunt said as though I should have known. You hug them, sleep with them, and even have tea parties with them. They're the best part of being a girl. I shrugged my shoulders and took the dolls from my aunt. I had promised to be a good girl and I didn't want to upset Aunt Patty, so I held the dolls tight just like I had seen little girls do. I don't know why, but I felt good about holding and hugging my new dolls. Maybe this girl stuff wouldn't be that bad. Mommy had to leave for work, so I gave her a big hug and kiss, then hurried over to start learning how to be a girl. For the next couple of weeks, my aunt taught me everything there was to know about being a girl. I learned how to sit and stand like a girl, how to throw a ball like a girl, and especially how to dress and act like a girl. One day, though, I was feeling really sad, and when Aunt Patty asked what was wrong, I blurted out, I don't want to be a girl, Aunt Patty. I want to stay as a boy. You can't do that, Jamie, she said softly as she pulled me close. The judge said that if you didn't become a girl, he'd send you to jail. Then I'll go to jail. I insisted. This is silly. I'm wearing dresses and girls' underwear and even playing with dolls. You're a little short and frankly you're sort of cute, Jamie. Aunt Patty told me. Do you know what the bigger, older boys would do to you at the detention center? You'd end up being one of their girlfriends. How would you like to be the steady girlfriend of some guy who can't wait to get to your pretty little butt? You could be his personal baby doll. I'm sure he'd enjoy playing with you. I felt sick to my stomach thinking about what my aunt had said. How could I have been so stupid? If the guys at school picked on me, what would they do to me at the detention center? I could imagine a few unspeakable things that they'd want me to do to them, and that was enough for me. I straightened out my skirt and apologized to my aunt. I'll be a good girl, Aunt Patty. I promise. I'm sure you will, Jamie, she told me as she kissed my cheek. You'll be a pretty one too. At that moment, nothing in the world meant more to me than my aunt telling me that she thought I'd be a pretty girl. I became determined to do anything I had to do to stay out of the detention center. I wasn't about to become anyone's girlfriend, that's for sure. Aunt Patty taught me how to play jacks, jump rope, hold tea parties with my baby dolls, and the joys of Barbie. We used to sit and play jacks with our skirts spread out around us or go into my yard where no one could see us and jump rope or play with the baby dolls she had given me. If it was a rainy day, we'd spend it inside playing dress up with my Barbies or sometimes playing with a toy makeup kit Mommy had given me. Aunt Patty would sometimes take me on shopping trips to the mall just to get out of the house. One day I got really scared when I saw a boy I knew from school walking straight towards us. I had been out of school for almost 2 months and had completely forgotten that it was a scheduled day off for my old school. Aunt Patty, I whispered fearfully. I know that boy. He'll recognize me in a second. No, Jamie, my aunt told me as she squeezed the hand that she was holding. Trust me, okay? I couldn't do anything else since by then the kid was right in front of me. I wanted to turn and run, but he looked right at me and then past me as if I wasn't there. He passed us without a second look, and I finally started to breathe again. What did I tell you? Aunt Patty asked. Do you think that he recognized you? He looked right at me, but I'm not even sure he saw me. I said, barely able to conceal my wonder. He saw a 9-year-old girl out shopping with her mother. My aunt explained. He didn't know me, so there was no reason for him to look at you. You're very cute, but you're way too young to interest a teenage boy. She laughed. I still don't believe it, I said in shock. We went to school together for 8 years. We were in the same classes, but he didn't know who I am. Face it, Jamie, you don't look anything like you did. Would he expect to see a boy he once knew all dressed up like a little girl in a cute top, pleated skirt, knee socks, and saddle shoes walking through the mall, his hair curled with a ribbon in it? I reached down and ran a hand over my skirt. I didn't know if I should be happy or sad. All I knew for sure was that as far as anyone was concerned, I was a little girl. Something inside of me, though, found the experience thrilling, and I asked Aunt Patty if we could try to fool some other kids. Don't try too hard, Jamie, she advised. You don't want to give them a reason to take a good look at you. Let them decide it for themselves that you're just a little girl. It's safer that way. I was a good girl and behaved myself for Aunt Patty, but I did have one run-in with a girl from my old class while I was trying on a dress. I had unzipped it just a little too much and was having a hard time reaching the back zipper to pull it up when the girl saw me and offered to help. That's a cute dress, she said with a smile. And you look very nice in it. I hope your mom buys it for you. Me too, I said in my best little girl voice. She smiled again and walked away, never realizing that we once went to a dance together. When we got home, I was so worked up that I just had to rush over and tell my baby dolls all about my adventure. I have to admit that after weeks of playing with them, I was getting very attached to my baby dolls, all of which I had named. I took them to bed with me and talked to them about being a girl before I went to sleep at night. They were always very polite and good listeners. One day my aunt said she had another surprise for me. I thought it might be another baby doll, which would have been okay since my old ones kept asking to meet new friends. Instead, she went to her car and brought in this dress that made my heart pound. It was very soft and looked just like a light pink velvet material. I didn't even try to resist the urge to try it on. I just wanted that dress so badly. Wait a minute here, my aunt laughed. Aren't you the boy who hates dresses? Not me, Aunt Patty, I'm a girl. I laughed, pretending to be insulted. I love pretty clothes, especially pretty dresses like that one. My mistake, my aunt laughed. Someone told me that a boy lived here. I shook my head. I've never met him. Now may I try that dress on, please? You'll need these too. My aunt reached into a bag and pulled out a package containing my fist pair of stockings and a pair of shoes with a low heel. I wanted to give my favorite niece her first pair of heels. I love you, Aunt Patty. I kissed her and rushed off to my room to change. I was so excited. My fist pair of heels. I was going to dress up just like a big girl in a pretty dress, stockings, and heels. Rushing to my room, I quickly pulled off my sleeveless top, stepped out of my denim skirt, and kicked off my sandals. I found a pretty full slip with a little lace trim and a pretty pink rose at the front and slid it over my head. In just a few weeks, with Aunt Patty and Mommy's help, I not only learned to put up with wearing girls' underwear, I actually came to enjoy it. The feel of my pretty slip as it slid over my bare chest and rubbed against my legs was so nice, much nicer feeling than anything boys' clothes I wore. Now, as I sat on my bed and carefully pulled on my first pair of stockings, I could hardly calm down. Mommy and Aunt Patty trusted me enough as a big girl to buy me special things like these pantyhose. They promised me that I'd love the way they felt on my legs and probably wouldn't want to take them off again. I carefully pulled and tugged until I had the pantyhose all the way up to my waist, just like the package directions said, and boy were Mommy and Aunt Patty right. I couldn't believe how silky my legs felt, and when I looked in the mirror my legs looked so pretty. I carefully pulled on my dress, then tugged it so that my slip wouldn't show under it. Mommy said that a girl should never let her slip show because it makes her look sloppy, so I'm always careful to check my slip after I put on a dress or skirt. The dress was just so soft I couldn't believe it. It was lined on the inside too, so it felt like I had on an extra slip because it was so slippery. I carefully put on my new shoes and stood up, not sure if I could walk in them because they had a heel and none of my other shoes did. Lucky for me, they really weren't too much different than my other shoes to walk in. Looking in the mirror though, they were so different than my other shoes, so grown-up looking, not something for little girl, but shoes a big girl would wear, and I was the big girl wearing them. I brushed my hair, carefully put in a pair of pink earrings Mommy had bought me, put a ribbon and barrettes in my hair to match my dress, then hurried to show off for my aunt. "How do I look, Aunt Patty?" I called out excitedly as I twirled around and around, making myself dizzy. "This is the prettiest, softest dress I've ever worn. It's my favorite from now on. Come on, Jamie." Aunt Patty took my hand and led me to the table. "I'm not done with you yet," she told me as she painted my nails to match my dress. "Don't touch anything with them for about 10 minutes, she advised. "They need to dry." I nodded happily, unable to talk because I was about to burst from joy. My nails looked so pretty and the shade was a perfect match for my dress. Aunt Patty had obviously planned everything out. No wonder I loved her so much. I sat quietly watching TV and talking to my dolls while waiting for my nails to dry. I wished that I understood why I felt so happy wearing a dress and girls' underwear, but I couldn't figure it out. I should be out riding my bike, climbing a tree, or scaling a wall, but I was just so happy to be all dressed up and looking so pretty that I couldn't imagine doing those things. Why climb a silly tree and risk falling down when I could have so much more fun having a tea party with my dolls? Mommy had promised that once we got to Arizona, she'd buy me a new bike, a pink one that said Barbie in real big letters, so I didn't mind waiting. "I talked to your mommy, Jamie. She can't wait to see how pretty you look in your new dress." Aunt Patty smiled. "She wants the three of us girls to go out to dinner tonight, okay?" "That's so nice, Aunt Patty." I started to cry. I was so worked up and confused. I wanted to show off my new clothes to everybody. I wanted them to stop Mommy and Aunt Patty and tell them that I was the prettiest little girl they'd ever seen. I was a teenage boy who wanted to be the world's prettiest little girl, and I couldn't help myself. It was exciting to see people I knew and not have them recognize me. Sort of like being invisible, I guess. I'd have bet the girls at school would have flipped if they knew who the little girl watching them adjust their pantyhose and bras in the ladies' room really was. Too bad I couldn't tell anyone. Mom was acting a whole lot different towards me. We didn't argue back and forth much anymore, unless it was over what I was going to wear. Sometimes she wanted to make me wear such babyish outfits when I wanted to wear what other girls my age wore. Other than that, we were getting to be so close. I helped zip up her dresses or do the clasp on her necklaces, and she'd help me with my outfits. The best parts of it all, though, were the times when we'd just sit and talk. Sometimes she'd let me lay on her lap while she brushed my hair, and other times we'd put each other's hair up in curlers, especially if we were planning on going shopping or seeing a movie the next night since we both wanted to look pretty. By the time Aunt Patty left, she had completed her job. I no longer had a problem thinking of myself as Jamie Lynn, a 9-year-old girl. We had spent weeks playing house, jump rope, jacks, Barbies, and any other game a girl my age would play. We had gone shopping, to movies, and dinner with Mom, and no one had ever thought I was anything but a little girl. Aunt Patty did come to visit me one last time before we moved. The day I had the operation to make me look like a real girl, Aunt Patty came with Mommy and me and held my hand until I fell asleep. Afterwards, I woke up to see her smiling and holding my hand again. "I brought you a little going-away present." She smiled and handed me a pretty pink bag with tissue in it. I dug through the tissue and started to cry when I saw the blue and yellow, 2-piece bathing suit she had bought for me. "You'll drive the little boys crazy when they see you in this, sweetheart," she promised. "And when you get a little older, I'll get you a sexy white one that will drive the big boys crazy." "Thank you, Aunt Patty," I wept happily. "It's so pretty. I can't wait to wear it." "We're going to have to get you some new panties, honey," Mommy told me. "Your old ones will be a little baggy on you now." "I hope you understand." "It's okay, Mommy," I smiled cheerfully to make her relax. I saw some pretty bikini panties when Aunt Patty and I were shopping. "Could I get some like them, please?" Mommy's face instantly relaxed. I guess she was worried that I'd be upset or something. She leaned over and held me so tight I could hardly breathe. "We'll buy you the prettiest ones we can find, Jamie. Nothing's too good for my little girl." My bedroom at our new house would have made me furious just a few months back, but when I saw it, I had this irresistible urge to run in and explore every corner. I thought that the pretty pink walls and white curtains looked so cute, and my new bed was a canopy style with ruffles that cried out for a little girl to bounce on it. Mommy told me that I'd have to be very careful not to mess up my white rug. She bought it since it looked so nice with the pink walls. I promised to be a very good girl and make sure all of my babies did the same. I didn't want anything to mess up my pretty new bedroom.
Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access.